Many Catholics move through the liturgical calendar unaware that certain times carry more weight in heaven's eyes than others. May is not just a pleasant month of blooming flowers and Marian hymns. In the spiritual realm, it is a battlefield wrapped in roses. Padre Pio insisted that May is a divine appointment. He called it the month of maternal intervention, because it is when the Virgin Mary walks more closely among her children. But not all feel her presence. Not all receive the graces, as she offers, because not all understand what May truly is. Have you ever wondered why, even in the holiest month dedicated to the Virgin Mary, your heart still feels distant, or your prayers unanswered? What if the blessings meant for your home this May have already begun to pass you by, not because of what you forgot to do, but because of what you didn't know you were doing wrong? Padre Pio once wept over the way many souls honor Mary in May, with beautiful flowers but distracted hearts, with songs on their lips but indifference in their souls. He said it clearly. The month of Mary is not a tradition, it is a battle. This is not a gentle warning. This is a cry from heaven. There are things you might be doing right now with the best intentions that are closing the doors of grace instead of opening them. Acts that seem pious but in truth are offensive to the Immaculate Heart, and unless they are corrected quickly, they risk turning this sacred month into a missed miracle. Today, we must speak plainly. These aren't small errors. They are cracks in the foundation. And Padre Pio revealed exactly what they are, because heaven is watching. And Mary, she is closer than ever. May is a sacred threshold, a door that opens only to those who know how to knock. From the first day of the month, the Church honors the Mother of God with public prayers, processions, and private devotions. But Padre Pio warned that these outward signs mean little without inner reverence. He said, in May, heaven listens more carefully, but also withdraws more quickly when it senses indifference. Think of it this way. If the Queen of Heaven enters the house of every soul who calls on her this month, what will she find in yours? An altar prepared with love, or one buried under distractions? A heart eager for communion, or one numbed by routine? May is not neutral. It is spiritual soil, and what you plant in it will either bloom into protection or wither into loss. Every act of reverence toward Mary in May multiplies. Every insult, intentional or not, echoes louder. Padre Pio believed that even one Hail Mary said from the heart during this month had more spiritual power than an entire rosary said carelessly outside of it. And yet, so many let it pass by like any other month. The saints knew better. St. Maximilian Kolbe dedicated his life to Mary and always began May with fasting and consecration. St. Louis de Montfort wrote that those who honor Mary correctly in this month become untouchable to the devil. These are not poetic exaggerations, they are spiritual laws, but like all laws, they come with conditions. You must know how to honor her, not just emotionally but spiritually, not just with flowers, but with purity. Because May is not a performance, it is an offering, and the Virgin is not watching your gestures. She is watching your heart. Padre Pio said it plainly. If you offer your devotion to Mary as a bouquet, make sure the stems aren't thorns. What did he mean? That devotion mixed with pride, distraction, or disobedience is like offering her a gift that wounds. That's why this message matters. If you want the blessings of May, you must first understand its weight, its spiritual atmosphere, its invitation, and its danger, because Mary walks among the homes of those who welcome her, but she turns quietly away from doors closed by spiritual carelessness. This is the month where miracles can begin, or where silence will speak louder than prayer. Now is the time to ask, what have I offered Mary so far this May, and what must change before it's too late? It is easy to hold a rosary. It is harder to pray it. This is the first and most widespread mistake. Padre Pio warned about during May. Catholics who pray the Rosary as if checking a box, not entering a mystery. As if the Rosary were a task to finish, not a window to pass through. A mechanical rhythm of lips moving, fingers counting, but hearts asleep. Padre Pio called this the dried rose. A rosary prayed without the heart, he said, is like offering a withered flower to the Mother of God on her feast day. She accepts it, he wrote, but it grieves her. Because Mary is not seeking performance, she is seeking presence. This mistake is common, especially in May when devotions multiply and many begin praying more, but not necessarily better. They rush through the decades, distracted by phones, wandering thoughts or fatigue. Their voices repeat the words, but their souls stay silent, and so the rosary, which should be a weapon of light, becomes a dull echo. Padre Pio said, "The power of the rosary lies not in the words, but in the wounds they touch." Each Hail Mary, when prayed with love and focus, draws blood from the enemy. Each mystery, when contemplated with the heart, opens a path in heaven. But when said without attention, the rosary becomes a string of empty beads. He once gave a simple instruction to a soul who confessed spiritual dryness. Pray just 1 decade, but pray it like your soul depends on it. The result: an awakening, a stirring of grace that had been asleep. In May, this mistake becomes even more costly because this month is charged with spiritual opportunity. The veil between heaven and earth grows thinner, and Mary leans closer to hear. To pray without heart in May is like ignoring someone who traveled far to visit you. It wounds, it wastes, it offends. How can you avoid this mistake? Begin by slowing down. Before you start, pause. Look at the crucifix. Invite Mary to join you. Ask her to help you pray, not just to her, but with her. When you announce the mystery, take a breath. Picture the scene. Let your imagination walk into the gospel. Don't race through the Hail Marys. Let them rise like incense. Even if you only finish 1 decade, do it with reverence. That's worth more than 5 decades whispered while thinking of the grocery list. Padre Pio used to say, "The rosary is a staircase. Some run up it and slip, others climb slowly and reach the top. This May climb slowly. Let every bead become a heartbeat. Let every word be offered like a gift. Let every mystery become your home for a moment, because Mary is not counting how many rosaries you say. She is counting how many times you meet her there." The second mistake many souls make in May is deceptively simple. They place an image of Mary in their home, but never have it blessed. Padre Pio warned that this small oversight can carry deep spiritual consequences, because an unblessed image, though it may look beautiful, remains just that, a piece of decoration. It is not yet a channel of grace. It is a window, but one that hasn't been opened. He once said, "The devil does not tremble at a statue. He trembles at a blessed one." Why? Because blessing is not a formality. It is a consecration. It invites heaven to claim ownership over what was once ordinary. It marks a thing as sacred. And in May, when many Catholics create Marian altars, with fresh flowers and candles, this mistake spreads quietly. People assume that good intention is enough, but Padre Pio was clear: spiritual power must be activated, and blessing is the switch. He told the story of a woman who came to him with confusion. She prayed before her image of Mary daily, but still felt unrest in her home. Her family argued, her prayers felt hollow. When Padre Pio asked whether the image had been blessed, she shook her head. It hadn't. He simply said, "Then it's not yet hers." It shocked her, but it was true. Until that image is set apart, it does not belong to the Queen of Heaven. It's just a picture. It may even carry spiritual residue from whoever made or sold it. Padre Pio knew this, and so he urged the faithful, take your images to a priest. Ask for a blessing. or bless it yourself with holy water and a prayer of consecration if no priest is available. Here is what he taught souls to say: Mother Mary, Queen of Heaven, I consecrate this image to your glory. May it be a window of grace, a beacon of peace, and a place where your presence rests. Bless this house and all who pray here. Amen. He said that after such a prayer, the image becomes more than a symbol. It becomes a threshold, a sacred point of contact between earth and heaven. Padre Pio also instructed that images of Mary should be placed in a worthy location, clean, dignified, uplifted, not next to entertainment or clutter or anything profane. The image reflects her spirit, he said. Honor it, and you honor her. This May, do not commit the mistake of honoring Mary with objects that haven't first been honored by God. The blessing is what allows her light to flow freely through them. Without it, the image may remain mute. With it, it begins to speak. So, go now, bless what you have. Renew it if it's been forgotten. Light a candle, offer a flower, whisper a prayer. Because when the image is blessed, the room becomes holy, and Mary does not ignore homes that honor her presence with reverence. The third mistake Padre Pio warned about is the one most commonly overlooked, and yet it has the power to shape the entire month of May, forgetting to begin it with a consecration on May the 1st. In the spiritual life, beginnings matter. The first step sets the direction of the journey, and in the month that heaven has specially set apart for the Virgin Mary, the first day is not simply the beginning of a calendar, it is a spiritual doorway. Those who pass through it with purpose open themselves to extraordinary graces. Those who ignore it walk forward unaware, unarmed. Padre Pio saw this clearly. He said, "The soul that starts May with Mary walks under her mantle. The soul that forgets begins the month alone." Many Catholics approach May with good intentions. They say a rosary here or there, they add flowers to a statue, they might attend Mass more often, but they treat May 1st as if it were any other day. They miss the invitation. They miss the chance to give Mary not just part of the month, but all of it. Padre Pio taught that May 1st was like the planting of a seed. If that seed is planted in faith, the month will bear fruit. If it is left in silence, the ground remains dry. It was on this day that he would kneel and say a short but powerful prayer of surrender. Mary, Queen of May, I give you this month. Take my joys, my struggles, my hopes and my fears. Let every day be an offering to your heart. Lead me to your Son. He insisted this prayer not be whispered mechanically, but offered with the heart. For in it lies a choice, the choice to walk with the Mother or to wander alone. He compared May 1st to lighting the lamp in a darkened room. Once the light is on, everything else in the room becomes clear. But if the first day passes without that act of consecration, the rest of the month may remain spiritually dim. Those who delay, thinking, "I'll do it later," fall into a quiet trap. Because May moves quickly, and the graces of the first day are specific. They open the way. They bless the journey. Padre Pio used to say, "The devil does not need you to say no. He only needs you to say not yet." That is how consecration is lost, not through rebellion, but through postponement. But even for those who forgot, there is hope. He taught that God honors the one who awakens late, as long as they rise with urgency. If today is not May 1st, let it be your beginning. Anyway, kneel today, say the prayer, light the candle, start again, because Mary does not hold grudges. She holds open doors, and the soul that consecrates the rest of May, even belatedly, can still receive what was promised. It is not the date that carries power, it is the decision, and heaven listens to the one who decides. So now, before another day passes, pause. Open your heart. Invite her in, because when Mary is given the whole month, she gives her whole heart in return. The fourth mistake Padre Pio urgently warned against during the month of May is the subtle but devastating separation between Marian devotion and sacramental life. Many Catholics elevate their Marian practices in May. They pray the rosary more often, they sing hymns, they decorate statues, and yet they do so without integrating these acts of love into the deeper spiritual rhythm of the Church, the sacraments. Padre Pio knew this danger well. He taught that Mary never walks alone. She always points toward her Son, and she draws the soul toward the altar, toward the confessional, toward the Eucharist. A devotion that stops at Mary's image, but does not lead to Christ's presence, is a devotion that has lost its compass. He would say, if Mary is truly honored, then her Son will be adored. If Mary is loved in truth, then the Eucharist becomes unavoidable. But in May, many souls unknowingly fall into a pattern of sentiment without sacrament. They fill their homes with flowers, but do not offer their sins at the confessional. They sing Ave Marias, but avoid the silence of adoration. They speak often of Mary, but they do not let her lead them to the foot of the cross. This division, however unintentional, breaks the flow of grace, because Mary's deepest joy is not in being praised, but in seeing her children transformed by the sacraments. She is not a destination. She is the mother who walks beside her children to Christ. Padre Pio often instructed his spiritual children to offer their communions in union with Mary, especially in May. He taught them to say, silently, before receiving, the Eucharist, Mother, receive him with me. And after communion, he urged them to pray, Mary, help me love him the way you did. These were not poetic additions, they were spiritual lifelines. Through this union with Mary in the sacraments, ordinary masses became mystical encounters. Silent communions became moments of fire. There is a danger in May to become devotional but remain spiritually malnourished. Flowers without repentance, candles without confession, statues without surrender. Padre Pio warned that if Marian devotion is isolated from the sacraments, it becomes like a beautiful house built on sand. It may be lovely, even inspiring, but it cannot withstand the storm. He once counseled a man who prayed the rosary daily but had not received the Eucharist in months. When asked why, the man said he didn't feel worthy. Padre Pio replied with both sternness and compassion, "Do you think the Blessed Mother wants you to stay outside the door of the feast? She is the one knocking, asking you to enter. Mary longs to guide her children to the altar, to confession, to healing. Her rosary is not a necklace of escape, it is a ladder to Christ. And in May, she walks even more closely with those willing to climb it." So how can this mistake be corrected? Begin by bringing Mary into your sacramental life. Attend Mass not just for obligation, but as a Marian offering. Go to confession this May and ask her to accompany you into the confessional. Light a candle for her before Mass, but also receive her Son during Mass. This unity, devotion and sacrament is the true heart of May, and when they come together, the soul is not only blessed, it is changed. The fifth mistake Padre Pio warned about, especially during the month of May, is one that often hides in plain sight: the danger of keeping the wrong image of the Virgin Mary in your home. Not every statue, painting or print that bears her name actually honors her. Some may even distort her presence, confuse the spirit, or worse, invite spiritual darkness. Padre Pio taught that images are not just decorations. They are thresholds. They either open the soul toward heaven or leave it exposed to error and deception. A sacred image, he said, should transmit peace, humility, and maternal tenderness. If it disturbs, if it fascinates the eye but chills the spirit, something is wrong. This mistake is increasingly common today. Many well-meaning Catholics purchase images of Mary that are overly stylized, cartoonish, or infused with elements from other religions or occult symbolism. Some have features exaggerated to the point of distortion: glowing eyes, unnatural posture, aggressive gestures, mystical colors that have no place in Christian iconography. These are not minor artistic choices. They carry meaning, and they can confuse the heart. In one letter to a spiritual daughter, Padre Pio shared the case of a woman who had placed a modern statue of Mary in her home, unaware that its origin was linked to a movement that blended Marian imagery with New Age philosophy. Though she prayed sincerely before it, her home grew restless, her children experienced fear, her sleep became troubled, and her prayer life dried up. When Padre Pio saw a photo of the statue, he instructed her to remove it immediately, burn it, and replace it with a blessed image from a traditional source. Peace returned to her home within days. He wrote, "The enemy hides behind beauty that lacks purity. He imitates what is holy to confuse what is true." So how can a soul avoid this dangerous mistake? The first step is discernment. When selecting an image of Mary, ask yourself, does this bring peace to my spirit? Does it reflect the Church's traditional portrayal, gentle, modest, motherly, pure? Or does it stir confusion, unease, or fascination with novelty? The second step is blessing. Padre Pio insisted that every image, no matter how beautiful or expensive, must be blessed by a priest. An unblessed image, he said, is an a door. It may represent Mary, but it carries no protection. Worse, if the object has been previously used in non-Christian contexts or touched with evil intent, it may carry spiritual contamination. He taught that a blessed image becomes a channel of grace. It is not magic, it is sanctified, a doorway for the Virgin's presence, and when placed in the home with prayer and reverence, it can become a fortress of peace. The third step is reverence. Padre Pio urged families not to treat their Marian statues as ornaments, dust-covered, forgotten in a corner, surrounded by secular clutter. This is no way to host the Queen of Heaven. He said, treat her image the way you would treat her person, with honor, with light, with flowers, with prayer. This May, it's not enough to display Mary. You must enthrone her. Choose an image with care. Bless it. Place it in a sacred space. Light a candle beside it. Pray before it every day. Make it clear to every soul who enters your home, Mary is present here. And where she is honored rightly, her Son is never far behind. Choosing the right image may seem like a small thing, but in the eyes of heaven it is a door. Choose well and you will walk in light. Choose poorly and you may find yourself praying into silence. The month of May is not simply a season of spring. It is a spiritual battlefield where grace is poured out in abundance or lost in silence. Padre Pio never treated this time lightly. He called May a sacred appointment, a month when Mary walks closer to those who truly honor her. But he also warned that without vigilance, we can let this window of grace slip shut before we even notice. If you've made mistakes, distracted, prayer, unblessed images, forgotten consecration, now is not the time for guilt. Mary is not a queen who condemns, but a mother who waits. She waits for one sincere act of reparation, one act of love, one decision to begin again. And when she sees it, she comes running. This May still has days left. And even if you have wasted the beginning, the end can become a turning point. Heaven watches not the calendar, but the heart. Padre Pio taught that one Hail Mary said with tears and attention can undo 100 said with indifference. One image, blessed with faith, can transform a home into a sanctuary. So take action now. Stand before your Marian image and speak from the heart. Light a candle. Kneel and say, Mother, I have not honored you perfectly been, but I honor you now. Make a simple offering. A decade of the rosary, a flower at her feet, a whispered prayer of love. These are not small things in the kingdom of heaven. These are seeds of peace, protection, and miracles. And if you are afraid, if your faith is weak, tell her that too. Padre Pio always said, "Tell Mary everything, even your fears, especially your fears, because she does not despise the small, the broken, the tired. She comes precisely for them. So now, before this moment passes, say these words in your heart. Mary, take this May and make it yours. I give you my home, my family, my soul. Where you are present, darkness cannot remain, and she will come.